Hey there, Dan here. TV Speed Shop kind of snuck up on me there. Today, we're working on a Pile 57 Chevy. Now, the last couple of videos, this thing has been fighting. We had that small block Chevy, which we were gonna put in here, and you know what? It just didn't turn out the best. So now we have a whole other fiasco of ripping motors apart and stuff and making something work, which we'll get done. But you know what I wanted right now was a nice win. And I don't know about you guys, but when I kind of lose motivation, I like to stand back and look at the car. This thing looks really cool. This is my favorite paint scheme of a 57 Chevy. The turquoise and white roof, I think, just looks fantastic. Now this thing is rough around the edges. There's a lot of original paint, well, almost all of it's original paint on this car, but it's pretty sad times, unfortunately. Now, this was a 4-door, which I had 2-door converted. So this door here is obviously different. It was a white door. We painted, and back here, oh, casualty on the ground. This section here is actually the original back door. So you can see in the center, but the edges is clearly where I welded it. Now the door and the edges and whatnot, the problem is when you painted that with modern paint, they're kind of dulling at different levels. We did have this whole car polished at one point, and it looked really good actually. It matched very well. Polished it, but didn't wax it or anything like that. So what we're gonna do today, I went out and spent my hard-earned money, well, your hard-earned viewed ads money, and I bought the vice grip wipe on clear coat. Now, a few weeks ago, we used the Shine Juice on that 56 wagon, which looked really good, and I did like that. But this one, I think the paint's just a little bit kind of more beat up, and honestly, I want to preserve what we have. That wagon kind of is what it is. This is Dani's car. This is a forever car for her. So we're going to clear coat it. Now, I took some grief, I tell you, when we put on that Shine Juice, made that little infomercial. Man, you guys let me know I was kissing Derek's ass. Now, I tell you what, you're not wrong. Anyways, so this stuff, you know, you support your friends, and when you ask for a handout or all those things, you're the pain in the ass. If your buddy owns a restaurant or a bar or has a clothing line, and you expect stuff for free, you're a bad friend. So you go out and you support your buddies. That's my take on it. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and scuff some of this car up. Now, you know what? We'll get off your little stand there. Most of the car is actually decent and pretty much ready to go. We're just going to go ahead and probably wipe this down with some thinner, getting junk off it we can. The loose edges, you want to kind of chip some of the junk off. See what I mean? Like, this has seen tough times. So we're going to have to deal with that at some point. The problem is the front. I really like the front of the car, but this is very, very rough. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to pull just these two pieces of trim off, which I'm a little leery on. I don't want to break them, but take that off. We're just going to scuff this with some like 400 grit just to take the hard edges off, and then it'll probably wipe on a lot easier. I want to lose the front bumper. Danny's not a huge fan of it. We'll see. You can always go back on. My vision of this thing, it may not be hers, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyways until it's done. We're going to clear it. She doesn't know what the hell I'm doing today. We're going to change the wheels and tires. We got brand new wheels and tires for this thing, and we're going to change the look of it dramatically. For something I really enjoy, I think she will as well, and it'll look really cool. So, bumper off, and I'll probably see you when I start scuffing this thing up. The rest of the car, I think, should be pretty much ready to go. I'll go over and just get some of the ugliness off. Man, see, like, this is what I mean. That's right down to bare metal in there. But it never had that. This is all happening just from sitting. And unfortunately, it's not going to fix itself. So I think we scuff it, we clear coat it, we're going to protect it. We'll kind of make it look cool, and we'll go from there. Hopefully the shine isn't too crazy. I've heard that the more coats you put on, the shinier it'll be. So if we go one coat, hopefully they'll have like a matte semi-gloss kind of deal. We're going to wipe it on, no spraying, super easy. And yeah, I'm excited. So I'm going to get this bump pulled off, we'll come back, we'll start scuffing, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Should be a fun day. All right, so we got the front bumper ripped off, love it or hate it. I friggin' love Tri-5s with no bumpers. Honestly, my favorite are 56s when I take everything off. They just look absolutely ridiculous. Even though 56 Chevys are parts cars. So, what I got here is some 400 grit. And you know what, maybe we get a little, get right up in there. Gentle, gentle, zooming. So, I mean, I really hate to kind of ruin it. I took the little bits and pieces off here. Look, it's kind of cool, eh? The trim, it actually says Chevrolet in the paint, because everything else got beat to rat shit, except for what was behind the trim, which obviously been on there for years. So a little 400 grit. You can actually see up here, looks like we sanded at some point. Oh, you know, it's all coming back to me. This car, I think this is the one. The tops of the fenders will show it. This thing might look really cool when we clear coat it. Yeah, like right in there. It's like a farmer had been like, oh, this is close enough, and painted little bits over it. Yeah, that must have what happened. Man, there's too many Tri-5s. It's really too bad. This thing looks super cool when it's clear coated. I don't know if I should take some of this rust out or just send it home. But I don't want to lose the shape of these kind of goofiness things. I just want the hard edges out. That's all we're trying to accomplish. So I'm going to go ahead and wheel on this for a little bit. It'll still be bumpy, but just the hard lips so it doesn't lift off like a 90 square body hood, or whatever they're called, OBS hood. So there we have it. Probably see, kind of just softened up the edges. I love this. Chevrolet. You know, parts of it kind of started going through a little. I think that's where we're going to leave it. I think I'm going to leave all the rust up here, and here's my reasoning. I mean, look at the frickin' fender. That's bare friggin' metal. And, yeah. So what I'm going to do, we'll set the camera up, and I'll just kind of walk around. Again, just these bits where it's kind of chipping, we'll just kind of do that. Maybe a little down there. Door's good. Quarter's good. Oh, back here, same thing. It's just spidering. This and this. At some point in its life, this whole 57 Chevy, man, I have had a lot of 57 Chevys. Well, a few. And half of them have all had this exact thing where obviously something has hit the fin and pushed it, because they all crinkle inwards this way. And then what they did was smash it the other way and load it full of filler. This and the convertible are both that way. So that, I mean, that's an eighth of filler. I think we're just going to go ahead and kind of mop it in there. This looks all fine. I don't know where, hopefully Dani has keys to this thing. Take the plate off. And this side, oh yeah, down here, just a little bit. So we'll set the camera up, we'll get it all kind of smoothed out. And I know everyone's like, patina this, it's all, you know, you're lazy. Yeah, that's right. But I'm telling you, fixing up the little rough edges and then clear coating by wiping it on, if you can do this in like 4 hours, why would you ever paint a car ever again? And it's way cheaper. And this thing's gonna sit outside in the snow. You saw the video. So I sanded it all down. I just wiped it off with some paint thinner, so it kind of looks splotchy on this side as it's drying. This side's still kind of wet, so I'm hoping this will kind of be the shine level, maybe a little shinier, like that. I mean, it still likes it all wet and gross, but if it looks like that and it's protected, I think we got her set. Now, we're gonna let this dry. While it's drying and it's all set up on a lift, I'm gonna go grab the wheels and tires, push this thing up in the air, put the wheels and tires on. We're gonna push it outside, I think, before picture. And then, cause it's all for the gram, right? And so let it all dry off. We'll get set up. I'll probably then just towel it, just get, you know, with like a microfiber or that blue, you know, towel stuff. Just get all the junk off it, make sure there's nothing left. And we'll get ready to clear coat by hand. I can't believe that's the thing. I feel like I'm late to the party, but I'm pretty excited to try that out. This car really does look good. I'm really hoping these wheels and tires look good. The back tires might be a little on the big side to fit, but you know my style. Drum roll. Okay, so for wheels and tires, a real shocker. The back, I want to stay a set of Steelies. These are 275, 60, 15, Mickey Thompson, whatever their new pattern is for slicks. That'll be a rather wide fit. 275s do fit on tri-5s, but sometimes they hit the leaf springs, so I don't know what the back space and all that'll be, but hopefully those will fit. I also have in the basement a ratty set of Daisies, 15s with 235 75s, so they're same height, just narrower, but we'll try these first. For the front, oh, so these are your generic American racing torque thrust, whatever. 15 by 3.5s. I bought these off a guy who had bought them, never put them on. He sprung for the metal center cap, not the plastic junk, so that's cool. And tech tip for a front runner, you want something that's skinny. These are trailer tires. They're 165 80 15s. So this has the same height roughly as this tire, which is a 215 70. So you get same height but narrow, and you don't got to spend a bunch of money on whatever the heck the tire may be. So we'll put these on, see how they fit, hopefully perfectly, and we'll go from there. We might have to change the back ones, put spacers on, but I'm really hoping that'll zhuzh up the car a little. So let's get it in the air and swap these tires over. Huh? I like it. Sorry, Dani. Building my car now. But it'll be slow, like everything else we own. All right, let's see what this thing looks like on the ground. I'm also fighting out drop blocks in the back, but that's just ridiculous. How does that look? Oh, yeah. What's up with this? Something in the way? Oh, I need a little slam. Whoever built this car didn't do a great job. Yep, that's cool. Okay. We'll let this thing kind of dry off a little bit, evaporate off. I'm pretty sure the problem is when I wiped it all down, there might have been some crap that got, oh, we were missing a few of these. And the friggin' lug nuts, it came with 10 lug nuts. I don't know if you can see on camera, but 2 were bigger. So I got to get, I don't know. I'll tighten those up for now, but future reference, I hate multiple size lug nuts on a frickin' car because then you're screwing around if you have a flat tire. Well, I forget what I was saying, but this thing looks cool now. We'll push it out, push it back in, and we'll see you shortly. Okay, we're a little ways later. Man, this thing is so chalky and boring. We got all kind of cleaned up. I read the instructions. Very simple, mix it 8 to 1, wipe it on. It recommends you blow off the applicator pads. We'll do that real quick with some compressed air. But 8 parts this to 1 part that. Bam. We're just gonna probably do, like, 2 parts or whatever to start. On this car, I think what we'll probably do is we'll do the roof first. I mean, obviously it's going to be a different color. We'll do down, well, we can just do, I don't know what we'll do. The A-pillar, whatever you want to call this little section here, we'll do the roof, and then it's a nice break because we have the drip rail. So we'll do that, and then everything else is all kind of dialed. Down here, I might mask. We'll see how easy it is to maneuver this stuff. If we just run a quick tape line on the top of the trim and the bottom trim. Again, this car is almost broken into roof, then kind of quarter section, and then down there. So if I do the whole thing, then I might even just set the lift up and bring it up and then do the bottom. I would assume that if you're doing like a full panel car, if it didn't have a piece of trim that absolutely broke the panel in half, you might want to do the whole thing together. We might still do that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Tri-5s are their own unique thing, but any car has you know, belt line trimmer right there. There up is what you're going to see, so you don't want to screw that part up. There down, you won't notice nearly as much. And honestly, who gives a crap about the rockers at that point? So we'll get this mixed up real quick, and next time you see me, we'll be applying it. And hopefully it looks cool. I'm actually really excited because this stuff like this hopefully will be brought out and really look pretty funky. We'll get some gloved up. We'll see what happens. So it says wet the applicator, which I guess we will do. This is also, you're supposed to test in, like, you know, low vis areas and all that, but we're not going to screw around with that. We'll just try it and see what happens. Oh, it goes on very wet. Very easy, okay. Well, that's no big deal. We'll just get this right to start. I'll see we run down the middle. Hopefully we can get both sides. I'm gonna have to lean right against it. Wow, it really soaks it up when it's in the rough spot. Okay. It's kind of hard to do the whole thing. Hopefully this is the correct way. It recommends barely going over the edge, if any, so it smells like clear coat. Okay. Definitely over this rough stuff. Gotta add a fair bit, but in the back where it's just regular paint, it goes slick. Okay. This is where a long bench to stand on will be nice, but what are you gonna do? Oh yeah. Seems like it kind of levels out. Well, let's just keep giving her, see what happens. Well, it's on there. Let's get the other side real quick. Actually, it went on super friggin' easy. It went on real easy. It's definitely very thin, so I think be a little cautious. Had a couple of runs where it kind of curved down, so less is more, but it is what it is. And if it all goes to shit, we'll just sand it off. But we'll see. It might have a couple of streaks in the roof. It's hard to get it right even, and we'll see how it dries. I think this will be more of a matte finish because it's going to soak up so much of it. But it went on very, very easy. I think it looks good. It'll protect it at the very least. And if I hate it, we'll just scuff it and do whatever we gotta do with it. The clear one a little kind of cloudy, and I believe it's probably because there's white dust still in there. I didn't maybe do as good of a job cleaning as I should have. But we'll mix up a new bunch and use the other side of the applicator for the blue and see what happens. So that being said, when you're going over all this, you're gonna be picking up junk in the applicator anyways. So probably it's the nature of the beast. It went on, there were some bubbles in it. It looks like they're kind of, you know, popping and going away as it dials together. So I don't know, looks simple, smells like paint. Like let's start on the rest of this thing. Okay, so the roof's doing its thing. I don't know, it seems weird putting on with a textured sponge, but hey, the geniuses say it can be done. Now, I think the trick is, I'm not gonna mask. I was going to, but I thought I'm lazy. I think the best thing to do is you almost wanna trace your little outlines of everything. Just kind of do that so you get an edge, and then you go kind of side to side or front to back, however you want to look at it, but kind of almost like trace it out like you did when you were a kid, and then fill it in. Now, see, like the applicator already gets junk in it just from being up against things. I think it's just kind of the way she's going to be. Okay. Oh, I should have done the edge like I said to do. Dummy. Oh, that looks cool. Now, it recommends you overlap just a little bit. If it's been more than 20 seconds, do not overlap. So I guess it's fairly time sensitive. Or if you miss the spot, don't go over it after 20 seconds. But hey, you know how I am with following all the rules. Pretty important. This is taking some concentration. This is my kind of stuff though. You don't have to mask, you can just wing it. Gentle, okay. I don't know if I said, but this stuff can be sprayed. I guess just like a regular kind of clear coat. So, you can do it all. How's this turning out though? This is where a second set of eyes would be kind of nice, just to see if you're missing anything. Wow, the hood looks freaking cool, eh? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna jam through the rest of the hood and cowl and all that while it's kind of wet. Let's just do this, its own thing. Well, it's very trippy to be just rubbing a sponge over rust, and that's going to be a top coat, I tell you. But hey, it's a patina lifestyle. Okay, let's start working our way down this side of the car. Well, it's kind of goofy in the front here too. Wow, this is mentally just kind of funny to get your head around. I guess it must just have some sort of self-leveling concentration. Oh, these little fin things. Huh. Guess what we're doing there, eh? Didn't really plan this very well there, buddy. Okay, we'll just gotta dab around it. And the pinpoint accuracy is pretty good on this thing. What a weird feeling coating right over rust. It is funky, that's for sure. I like it. What do you think? No, yeah. Now this is the real test, because this door is a different freaking color. Well, not different color, but a little on the trim there. It was painted properly versus the other stuff, which is all original junk. So we'll see how this all blends together. I like how you have to go fast, because my patience level is so low usually. This is the speed I like to work at. Well, what's going on there? You can clearly see where it's wet, and it's starting to dry in a few spots, kind of like regular paint does. Kind of see, there should be enough, I think, to do a second coat in certain areas. So that is a risk, I guess. Maybe when you put it on, it'll dry and do different things in different areas. So you might do little touch-ups here and there, but seems like it's going on a regular clear coat to me. Let's get to the back. We'll do a little tailgate or the trunk section. That should be fun because it's mostly rust and junk. Man, this thing is, it might even take the patina word a little far, but look at the contrast there of like the nice shiny versus the blah. If we can kind of keep some of that shine, this thing will look freaking sharp. It didn't say anything about not using your car as a work stand, so I figure if it's not in the instructions, it must be allowed to be done. It did say in the tight areas, you can put it, like dab it on a rag. I don't want to touch anything here. And get in. So right in there is kind of tight, but the applicator did just fine. Okay, so I'm going to get the car dialed and then we'll do the deck lid on its own maybe. How about that? Sounds good, Dan. Good plan. Oh, yeah. Well, you guys are missing all the shots. Hang on. I should put you on the other side. Idiot. Well, maybe you'll see it coming around. Okay. Well, that's a little weird going in there. There's definitely a few spots. Like this thing, the tail pan actually goes below the bumper, so it's probably a bumper off job, but no, we're not doing that. We'll jam it in after. Or tomorrow or something like that when everything's kind of dry. Get in some of those hard to reach areas. It's kind of nice. You just use the trim as like a little bumper. It's like bumper bowling. Okay, this is where it's... Ooh, she's a little gross here. We'll see what happens. I feel like we're just gonna, you almost have to just blob her in the blob mess, and that wasn't in the instructions, but. Whew. Can you hear the roughness of that? Holy moly. Okay. So, I do want to jam this applicator in there and go across, but you know what? I know it's gonna be full of dirt and junk, because it's probably never been cleaned. I sure didn't do it this time. So we'll do that last. I don't know what's showing up on the camera, but the roof is really drying to I'm gonna say a semi-gloss-ish, which is really nice. I was actually talking to my buddy Casey's Customs. You know, he gives me a hard time on the internet. He's a good guy. And he was saying this stuff, concentration. One coat is kind of like a semi-gloss. He's sending me pictures. He's used a bunch. And if you go over it again the second time, it really gets to be kind of glossy. So I guess a lot of that probably depends on what you have for a base. Luckily, he's a degenerate just like me. And everything he has is terrible, so I felt like I was right at home when I was getting advice from him. It's cool how it really brings out the colors. Look at that. Hooey! Oh, this side's so much less beat. It's funny how cars are like that. One side of a car can be complete garbage. You know, another side is not too bad. Honestly, when I was originally going to work on this car, we were going to keep it a four-door. Murray was like, oh no, it needs to stay a four-door, this and that. But that other side was so beat, I was like, well, it needs repair anyways. Who's going to spend any time repairing a four-door, right? Except if you go to any Tri-5 forum, guys will tell you, fix the four doors, they're better. They're wrong. Okay. Oh yeah, you can really see actually how it took a lot of the shine right out when it dries, so this is pretty good. I think it'll be the right amount. It might even need a second coat actually on the hood where it was really, really rough. Do that later. So this can be recoated. It says 24 hours on a light scuff. Don't touch it, don't touch it. Well, I don't think there's anything left to do now but wait. I'm gonna turn the heat on and let it do its thing. My only concern was the hood. It was a little, I think it was just so rough, it was kind of grabbing, maybe even some of the dirt and bristles or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it looks like the car's wet. It's the right amount. The roof's been the longest and it's definitely dulling out. I think this will be the right level of sheen, but look at the junk that's in there. How can I do this? Hang on. Gentle, gentle. That's all garbage that was in that got wiped off. So obviously, a little more caution. I'd say we have about a third left. So I mean, it'll, like it said, the instructions said it'll do one long bed truck for sure. It'll do, you know, try 5 and a bit, or 2 little small cars probably. But I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna leave it. I've learned with paint, whatever it is, it is. I'm gonna wipe off just the little bits if I got some runs on the trim, but I can get far enough away from this thing. I think it's bitchin', absolutely bitchin' like this. Hopefully Dani likes it because, well, it's done. I'll be back in a couple hours and we'll see what we ended up with. Okay, so it's a few hours later. I'm actually dressed up. Plowing snow, story of my life. It snowed all day, so now it's time to get out there. This thing's perfect. It has just the right amount of shine. Now, I think I might do a second coat on the hood. I don't know if it shows up. It's not quite as shiny on the hood as maybe the fenders you see, but the hood is so beat. Actually, it's like this body line in. This fender's not bad actually, but this one, this is what I'm talking about. It's all coming back to me now. You can see that. This thing had miscellaneous paints, farmer paint job on it. I mean, what is all this? And I think it really dulled it. So I don't know if another coat will help. I mean, I could polish it. We'll have to see. The roof turned out cool. I mean, the doors turned out fantastic. The quarters look great. The deck lid even looks really nice. That was all in much better shape. It's just that hood, it was kind of unhappy. So we'll see what Dani thinks of it. And you know what? I don't have to do anything tomorrow. Let's be honest. It looks kind of cool how it is. I just touched it a little bit. It is dry to the touch, but we're going to leave it. I'm going to leave the heat on high. And tomorrow, we'll see if we can roll it out in the sunlight, see what it looks like, see, get Dani's reaction, and go from there. But I think this thing, I'm super motivated now. But you guys know me, I get a new car, motivated for like 5 videos, and I'm like, meh, on to the next one. But I think it looks cool. It might slightly be my car, but hopefully Dani digs it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got a bunch of plowing to do. Ooh.
Wow!
It's got like a nice dull shine to it.
That looks sharp.
Sharp!
This looks really nice. It doesn't even look like it was sitting in a field in the snow.
Okay, let's go ahead. We're talking about the finish, not talking about my own bad habits.
No, but like it looks fresh.
Well, yeah.
It looks very fresh.
I just clear coated it. New wheels and tires.
Hey!
Huh?
Wow, you did buy me new stuff. It's all shiny.
Brand new.
Those look cool.
Brand new. I know, right?
I quite like the skinnies. I'd like my bumper back on.
No, I had to come off to paint it. We'll see if we get it back on there.
It's gonna go back on. I want my bumper.
So the only thing is, So we put on a second coat. Oh, this is screwy. On the hood. It's kind of dull. The hood was the worst spot, so it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's not quite like down here's cool.
Yeah.
Off up there. We have enough we can do with that. I was thinking actually from like the inside line of this little, you know, the tops of the fenders and the hood. So that's up to you to decide, because that's the only part that's not quite as shiny as the rest of this hot rod.
This thing was so good though.
I did most of the work. I mean, you know, did buy that fancy, fancy clear coat, which you can get at vicegripgarage.com. So here we go. So we're leaving this one. It looks like a cool car. Doesn't look like it was. This thing was in a snowbank 4 days ago. So it's all together. The roof came out really cool. It gave all sorts of cool colors.
It's really nice.
And hopefully this should now kind of protect it from being all mangled. Now we can polish it and not worry about losing more and more paint, because this thing has a cool look to it, but it was, you know, every year it goes by, it was getting worse and worse and worse. And for some reason we store stuff outside. We can't have nice things. You won't let me have another garage. So, this is where we're leaving it. Look at that. Honestly, this was super easy to use. I hate paint. It's not for me. Painting, polishing, all that sort of stuff. Clean it, scuff it, mix that stuff, rub it on. It worked out great. I had one run right there. I don't know if you can see, but that's because I was blobbing it in there and it pooled. Otherwise,
oh yeah, I can see it.
Okay. I'll wet sand it out for you.
Thanks.
But it came out fantastic. I think this car looks...
This section right here is my favorite part of this car. Right
it was
here.
so mangled.
I just love how this part looks.
But it came out the right shine. It's not too shiny. It's kind of that, you know, middle of the road. I'm sure a second coat will bring it way more shiny. We'll do the hood one more time and call it a day. But that's where I'm leaving this thing for now. We got a motor put in it. Doing that tomorrow? Okay, tell them to do the like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe.
All right, we'll see you later.